Today is January the 25th, 2025, and today makes 6 months that I have not smoked no weed. The last time I smoked was July 25th, 2024. And so I just want to document a little bit about why I stopped smoking, the effects since I've stopped smoking, and just overall how I feel. First thing is the why I quit smoking. Well, the real reason why I quit is because my spirit told me you need to get off that weed. You need to chill with the weed smoking. As I began to really dive off into self-development again, I started to create boundaries within myself. I started to hold myself accountable in ways that I knew would positively affect the direction I'm going. And I kept hearing to stop smoking, so finally I obeyed the spirit. I tried in January of 2024 for about 5-6 days, and I ended up coming up with some excuse to start smoking again. And I ended up smoking from January all the way up until July of last year, like I said. But even during that time, spirit didn't stop telling me to stop smoking or take a break from the weed. That voice just became louder again because I was obeying spirit in so many other aspects of life that voice finally came to me, and I finally obeyed it and was able to stop smoking without the withdrawals. You know, you quit smoking and you have withdrawals for a week. Yeah, it was tough to maybe go to sleep for 2 or 3 nights just from used to having that smoke to lay down and get in that sleep mode. But after 2 or 3 days, those withdrawals went away. I was ready to move forward in life and to really get on the other side of weed so much. I didn't even have a desire to smoke it. Every now and then, probably within the first 30 days, I would run into some type of frustration to where I would normally be like, fuck it, I'm finna go smoke me one. I'm finna roll up. That went away. Like, I was wanting to get on the other side so bad that my discipline had kicked in and my obedience to spirit had kicked in so much, I didn't have those issues of a relapse. I didn't have that addiction on me as much because internally I had made that decision. I'm about to chill. And then I say, well, once I stopped smoking, even before then, I knew that the weed we have now, 90% of the weed we have now is not the weed of 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. 2 completely different drugs. I compare our weed today to the GMO fruit and vegetables in Walmart. The GMO, the bioengineered label that's on Jiffy cornbread, that's on Oreos. A lot of the food that we eat, if you read those ingredients, they say bioengineered. That's genetically modified. I'm smart enough to know genetically modified food is going to start to manipulate your DNA, your brain, your functions, your body functions. It's not going to be healthy. And as I was smoking, a lot of the times, I wasn't even really getting to that point of high like I wanted to. I was just dumb. Just dumb high. Just numb and dumb on this genetically modified weed that the government say, okay, y'all, we're finna legalize this all over the place. Then you got the Asians in Oklahoma growing the shit, trying to get it out just as fast as they can get it grown to put on the streets. We don't know what they putting in this shit to make it grow, but I started to find out some of the chemicals that was in this shit, from just the sprays all the way to fentanyl. It's on this weed that we smoking, not knowing that it's not right. Now, if you just start smoking within 5 or 10 years, then you may not have ever really smoked any real cannabis. You may not even know what real weed, how it affects you, because you just smoking the chemical. You just smoking the spray. You just smoking this genetically modified plant. So I had that information. I'm like, wait a minute. I done changed my diet. I'm not drinking. I'm not taking in things that are gonna lower my vibration. Spirit say this weed is. So I obeyed spirit, started smoking weed, and when I did, my body, I could tell the difference in my bodily functions. Even how my physical body all the way to my mind wasn't as cloudy. My memory came back. The fact that I held myself accountable to not smoking and stood on that, I started to hold everything around me accountable. Like, I'm sacrificing something that I love weed. I love to smoke weed. Been smoking weed. I always been. I think I'm a Marlin. I always done smoke weed. So I'm finna sacrifice something I really love to do for my personal development so that I can be better, so that I can see what's on the other side of that. Spirit told me. I want to see what God got for me on the other side of this weed. And if I'm holding myself to that accountability, everything around me, I'm holding accountable. You can't tell me you're going to do something and you don't do it. You can't tell me, I can't be dependent on you and you continuously let me down, because now I'm sticking to my own word. I'm not even letting myself down anymore. When I say I'm going to do something, my word is my bond. If I can't do it, I'm going to let you know. So all this just patterns of behavior that other people had that were unacceptable, that I might have been like, you know what, man, I ain't tripping. I'm just finna go smoke me one and shit. We'll figure it out tomorrow. No, we're gonna address this right now, because that's just how my mind began to function. Another thing is the amount of time I now have. This is one of the very first things I began to notice within the first 60 days too, is how much time I would be spending smoking weed. Again, 30 minutes just sit there rolling up smoking, to an hour, and then another hour scrolling on the phone while you're high. So if you do this 3-4 times a day, I'm thinking like, damn, you know, I done spent 5-6 hours just smoking weed, getting high, not being productive in any form or fashion. Don't let nobody else come and we have a little smoke session. That's 2-3 hours right there in itself, with little to no productivity, and just get anything done. And so now that I have more time, now I can be more focused on my purpose. Now, hey, I don't have this time to go sit down. I'm not making time for my morning square, my lunch at night. What am I gonna do with this time? Now my goals became clearer. Now I was more disciplined and apt to say, you know what, let me be sure I get this done today, because I have all this extra time. Let me put it to something useful. Let me become way more goal-oriented. So the time that I began to gain again and the productivity I began to have was so beneficial that, again, like right now, I don't have any urges to smoke. I don't have this desire to smoke some weed anymore. And I want to say, again, like I was saying a minute ago, a lot of people, they don't have any idea what's in this weed. They don't have any idea how it's being grown. So if you do choose to partake, I would advise you to try to find out who the grower is. Try to find out the growing process, where this tree is coming from. But again, if you don't really care about what you're putting into your body food-wise, then you're probably not going to care where your smoke comes from either. And so again, this is just the phase of my life and of my personal development to where I care about not only what comes out of my mouth, which defiles the man, but I also care about what I put in, because it's going to affect your cognition. It's going to affect your motivation, your drive. It's going to affect your energy levels. You wake up off that weed, sometimes you don't even want to get out of bed. I don't wake up like that. It's time to get up. It's time to get up and get to it. So these are just a few things that I've noticed in my, I guess you could call it recovery from smoking weed, from my former addiction that I no longer have. And man, I feel good about it. This is my story. Some people say the weed they got is beneficial for their life, more power to you. This is where I'm at with it in my life. So if anybody out there has something that's telling you, something ain't right about this weed, or maybe I need to take a break, I encourage you to obey that spirit, because on the other side of it is what I would consider monumental blessings and monumental growth, that if you just stick to your word, if you just be obedient, you'll see these things instantly. Just having the wherewithal to say, I'm done, I'm going to follow through, because when you get high, we have brilliant ideas, but then you get high and we'll be like, man, I'm gonna do it, and we never do it. So it can be a crutch and a drive killer to your life. This is just my story. I'm sticking with it, and I'm gonna tell it. So again, today makes 6 months, and I feel great about it. And again, if you have been hearing that voice, it's gonna be all right, man. That weed is still gonna be there if you wanna go smoke again. But if you never say, hold on, pause, let me see how my life can look. Let me see how it can be different. Let me see if I can make any progress. Let me see if the little bit of stagnation that I'm having, let me see if by me not smoking, if I can gain some ground on some of my goals, or if I can be more purpose driven. I'm out here, y'all.